knock me out. But that's not potentially going to be happening here, as we have plenty of time. We're going to have a nice full game and a fun one at that, as we know that Pablo is going to be on the Blastoise, I believe.
Yes.
And we have Darkrai on the other side.
Darkrai, the deck that won the World Championships way back when. Very formidable force. And now we're going to see exactly what made it so strong after the prize cards are laid down. Pokemon Catcher, I shudder at this card. Good old Tropical Beach as well, part of the formula.
Yep, some very impressive cards that we see laid out there. The Lightning Energy, that's not going to come into play unless we see that Black Huron at some point as a great way to handle the Darkrai EX. We're going to start things off here nice and simple with the Keldeo.
Playing that Mewtwo.
Powerful.
I'm just reading some of these old cards, let me tell you, Kyle. Like, what the heck? You don't have to flip a coin for that? You don't have to flip a coin for that either?
Yep.
This is a strong cards. Definitely the name of the game for this 2013 format. Chip starting off with that Sableye in the active spot, has that Junk Hunt ability. Recycling those item cards is absolutely massive. Keldeo EX, a strong pivot option for these great 2013 format lists.
Yeah, it's a great pivot for Chip, as Chip is going to use that likely as a way to retreat in and out and move around. Pablo can actually attack with it. He's got the water energies, so you can actually see the Secret Sword used. It's a great way to take some of these easier knockouts or start to soften up some Pokemon if you have to, but certainly a great way to handle a Sableye in the early turns.
And now with Squirtle now on the bench, already preparing for that Blastoise that's in the hand. Here comes the Tropical Beach, a great stadium. You draw up to 6, was it, to end your turn?
Yeah, up to 7.
7, my
actually
God.
Holding Rare Candy Blastoise.
All right, Pablo Meza's ready to go.
This is going to be incredible. A random receiver, you flip until you find a supporter, and of course, Chip is going to missequence all of this. Let's see if he ever finds one, or if he's just going to reveal the entire deck list. I'm getting exhausted. It's the end,
of course.
Surprise, surprise.
So after all those cards are flipped and revealed, End finally comes back to the hand. You have a supporter now finally, and now the attach for turn.
I feel like that's how Chip goes. Whenever I call him, he just will answer anyone else except me whenever I'm trying to reach him.
And the Hypnotoxic Laser hits ahead. That is Sleep and Poison on the Keldeo EX.
Well, that is nice if you didn't see 2 Keldeo EXs. Obviously, rush in, you can bounce right back in and avoid that poison. Doing anything extra here?
He's got to wake up first, right?
Well, you can use the rush in on the other Keldeo EX.
Oh, I see. So it force switch. Oh, that's even stronger. Every time I think that something isn't as wild as it possibly could be, it's like, no, they thought of everything. They thought of everything.
Basically, you can do everything broken, except the damage isn't as large as you're used to. That's Pokemon of old, and it's a lot of fun.
Do broken thing with low power. I don't know about that one. Darkrai EX, however, hitting the bench. The all-star of ChipRichey's deck. And then the Junk Hunt to bring the Hypnotoxic Laser back in. Flips heads to wake up. Still poisoned, however. 1 damage counter on, but we still have that Rare Candy Blastoise.
Yep, we see the Skyla there, so the Rare Candy is available. The only issue is there's 2 energies, and you'd really love to have 3. You'd actually have the knockout lined up here, so Skyla probably still ends up going for the Rare Candy unless there's something I've forgotten about here.
And she has a different effect back here in 2013, right? It's not just search for
it's
search for an item. That's it.
It's search for an item.
Okay, well, let's go.
It ends up still being very strong, and especially in combination with Tropical Beach. That was one of the great ways to go and grab that card. You could, of course, Skyla, grab the beach, and then just find your setup. So plenty of ways to use this resource, and it's not a one of or a none of like we see in the current days.
And after the Ultra Ball, discarding the energy and what is that supporter?
The Silent or whatever. I forget how it's pronounced, but it lets you get a bunch of water energies, a bunch of basic energy cards.
Gotcha. So yeah, a lot of strong cards just for bringing cards to your hand. This is so important. In the modern format, a lot of these are gated around very more specific cards or around specific archetypes. But having more generalistic supporters helps more decks in the format. Rush in now, switching the Keldeo EX to the active spot, and evolution to War Turtle. No Blastoise just yet, after all.
Yep, this is a slower approach, and it makes sense, too. He's going to hold on to the Skyla and the Blastoise and then draw his hand back up. Try to get a few more of those water energies, at least into the hand or the discard pile, and eventually you'll have those ready to go. Just looking for 3 in order to get rid of the junk hunt.
And with this format, being based around powerful disruption, gathering of resources but lower damage, Pablo can take this roundabout route of getting everything put in place and set up and then come roaring into the game. Chip, fortunately, does still have the Hypnotoxic Laser, can do a little bit of annoying plays here and there as Pablo begins to set up. We've got another receiver.
Yeah, well, we see the Burbank City Gym. That's one of the cards he eventually would love to find, and maybe a card like...
Where's all the supporters?
Yeah, where's the Juniper or something? We need something.
Why isn't this card just search for a supporter at this point?
Well, because then you have to reveal half your deck to your opponent, and you lose all of your surprises. There's a little bit of a game that goes along with it.
Okay, I appreciate that.
You get to show off, well, this isn't prize, and maybe there's this. We see 2 of those Burbank City gyms.
And we've got the Professor Junipers now as well. Has the same Professor's Research effect. It was just called Juniper back in the day.
Yeah, the Burbank is a card that Chip would love to see very soon, as it really helps with the math increments on the Keldeo EX. If you can start dealing 30 damage with the poison, eventually that lines up great with the Dark Claw on the Darkrai EX to deal 110 damage, which is 140 with the poison. If you already have 30 on a Keldeo, you're going to line up some knockouts.
And there's a Hypnotoxic Laser. And then heads, Juniper.
Here we go.
Here we go.
7 cards now.
Whoa. He's got 2 Dark Energies in the discard pile and finds 2 Dark Patch.
He's going in, Kyle. Energy switch too. He's going to get this Darkrai powered up.
I don't think he saw it. He's talking about all of the outs that he had, and he missed.
Oh, no.
He only found the 2 Dark Patch.
So what do we do now?
He's shook.
Yeah, you're so focused on a key play that's going to put you in a dominating position, and then when it doesn't come through, you have to stop. The brakes get put onto your brain, and you have to reevaluate the situation. It's just going to be another manual attach per turn, and Sableye just chilling in the active. Hypnotoxic Laser plus Junk Hunt.
Yep, he's thinking about the catcher once more.
Do we like, what is it, just Laser Catcher? Or do we want that Dark Patch back?
I think the damage is important with the Laser. The Dark Patch isn't doing too much because you'll have the one other Dark in there.
Still asleep.
Probably going to draw something soon.
Keldeo can still get this Wartortle out of the active, so I love the counterplay here. Rare Candy into Blastoise now. So what does this Blastoise do for the deck, Kyle?
Well, you get to use Deluge and start to accelerate all of these water energies down onto the board. There's no other effect that goes along with it.
And those energies have to be in your hand,
correct.
Right? Okay.
So as soon as you get those into your hand, you're going to be ready to go. Plenty of ways to make use of that. We see the energy search in hand, so you can go ahead and grab one of those out of your deck, but also superior energy retrieval, which is discard 2 cards and grab 4 basic energies out of your discard pile, add them to your hand.
Okay.
So we rain energies here.
And now with an N of his own, Pablo Meza is going to shuffle the hand back into the deck, try to get some water energies or some ways to grab those, and then get the Deluge in. How much does Keldeo EX hit for once it's powered up?
It's 50 plus 20 for every energy that you have, every water energy that you add.
And that's on your whole board?
On the Keldeo.
Okay,
yep.
Okay.
So you stack it up eventually, and I think you needed, like 6 energies if you wanted to start knocking out other Keldeos, 7 for the Darkrai. It gets wild. You can see a ton of energies on this Pokemon. And thank goodness we're not dealing with the Mewtwo. That's really when this got interesting later on.
Yeah, I mean, the only deck that attaches that many energies to one Pokemon is like something like Blissey.
Yeah, we have seen that. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that happen in round 9 when we featured the Blissey V, but sure enough, I'm sure we'll see plenty of energies right here as Pablo finds his A-Spec, that computer search. Great way to grab any card.
And the A-Spec trainers, these were the cards we can only have one of in the deck. A radiant item card, so to speak, with a powerful effect. So the computer search comes through, and how exactly does this one play out, Kyle?
Well, he's got to pick what card is the most important here to close out. I was a little perplexed by not using the energy search before he used the N, Now he's in a spot where he wants an energy so bad that he computer searched for it.
So you discard 2 cards, you find the card that you want, that's it? It's just a Starbirth?
I like both players having a laugh here as they Pablo doesn't need to reveal what card he gets off the computer search. He's going to hide the fact that he grabbed the basic water energy.
Oh my goodness. And after the deluge, you get the attached to the Keldeo.
Rush in.
Now rush into the active spot. Poison is cured, and we get the knockout on the Sableye. Pablo Meza takes the first prize card of this game, and now that first blood has been drawn, we're going to see the prizes start flying left and right, hopefully here, Kyle. 20 minutes left on the clock.
Yep, Secret Sword doing some work there. Chip needs to get rolling. His hands... I'm assuming that he's got something as he didn't grab the random receiver the last time. But actually, he did just get N. So, he's got plenty. He's got the Juniper there. He's got the N as well if he wants to go that route. Could just go aggressive and try to see as many cards as possible.
Darkrai still slowly but surely getting powered up. Another N, shuffling the card back in, and both players draw cards equal to the number of prizes remaining. The further you get far behind, the more you get to, disrupt your opponent. So Pablo Meza is still going to get 5 cards. This is better than a Marnie. It's better than a Judge still.
Chip desperately needs to find the Burbank City gym. He needs to get that down and at least knock out one of these Keldeo. Maybe you can target down the second one and actually stick the sleep. And if you do that, then you're in a fantastic spot.
That has been the sticking point for ChipRichey's list, is getting these hypnotoxic lasers all set up and recycled. But the double Keldeo has been great for Pablo to pivot out of these situations.
Well, big opportunity here. The A-Spec found on Chip's side of the board with that computer search, but would lose a lot of resources in doing so. He's thinking about it.
Is the Burbank City Gym that strong? Is it that necessary to kind of complete the setup here, buy some time for this Darkrai to come through and begin taking prizes?
Well, it is a great resource to grab in this instance, I think, because you could go ahead and use that, and then you can use Junk Hunt once more. Grab the computer search back, reuse your A-Spec.
What?
Cheat the game.
No.
And then you could also maybe grab a card like that random receiver if you wanted, and you could guarantee that you have a supporter for next turn too.
Maybe.
So,
okay.
A lot of different ways that Chip could go about this.
Now I'm a believer that the Sableye is indeed as nutty as they say.
Yep, there's a lot of cool things that you can do with that card. There was a deck that ended up getting 3rd place at the World Championships that was completely reliant on bringing back that Life Dew A-Spec that I mentioned on the previous time that I was out.
Yeah.
And you would just continually never give them a prize card every time that you were knocked out. So they could knock out 14 Sableyes and you're still playing like it's turn 1, baby.
Oh, no. That is so dastardly, Kyle. I'm kind of glad we didn't get to see that on the stream.
Yeah, that would have taken an hour and a half. So we don't do those.
But the Burbank City Gym does indeed hit. We've got a Poison Keldeo taking a little bit more damage, and now Heavy Ball hitting the pile. Now, you search for a Pokemon with a retreat of how much?
I believe back then it was 3 or more. I think it's still 3. But
okay.
Yeah, usually if it's got 3, it's got 4. We know which guys are the big ones, and it's
gotcha.
The Blastoise there that we're looking for.
All right, that's a heavy boy. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Heavy
Black
Ball comes through.
EX is also a big boy, if I remember correctly. Mainly just remember 200 damage is pretty nice. And that Sam Chen, when he won I believe it was his first regional win in Philadelphia, he borrowed my Black Kyurem EX, and I told him if he wins this tournament, he is allowed to eat it.
Ooh.
And he won the event after like 400 players later, and he ate the Kyurem in front of me. And I was mortified and so proud of him at the same time.
Oh my goodness, he really followed through. He absorbed the Kyurem's power into himself.
Yep, it was the best $14 I ever lost.
You treated him to a nice lunch, a nice expensive lunch.
And it got me a ticket to his wedding 15 years later, so we'll take it.
And with the energy surge, Pablo still digging through the deck, completing the setup. Lightning energy onto the Kyurem and Blastoise, 2 of them in play now, setting up for the deluge. But we've got to get this other Keldeo into the action. Here comes Rush in to cure that poison, but this one doesn't have any energies attached.
Look at the heads-up play from Pablo. Held that energy surge so long ago so that he could have this at the right time for the lightning energy on the Black Kyurem EX. Very heads-up.
And then the double rush in, I like that, just to keep the powered up Keldeo in the active spot while curing that poison.
I don't think the chip's going to make it.
It's getting pretty rough. Darkrai EX showing up incredibly late to the party with 3 manual attachments of the darkness energy. So now what does Darkrai's attack do?
Well, Darkrai is known for the Night Spear, dealing 90 damage and 30 to the bench, which also lines up fairly well with those increments I mentioned earlier, as you're trying to get at least 30 damage onto the Keldeo, and then if you can line up that Dark Claw, you do that 110 and the 30 with the poison damage of the Vermix City Gym along with the Hypnotoxic Laser.
So you're trying to do a bunch of chip damage, then go for a nice spread attack to clean up. This is a strategy that we saw previously, you know, in the modern standard format, but I love the way that these deck styles, you know, have a cycle to them. You know, this modern list plays similarly to one of my favorites from 2013, and we see players consistently gravitate towards the archetypes as the metagame shifts and we get new sets.
We see Chip say he should have played back then, as he's hit heads on what it feels like every single Hypnotoxic Laser. It doesn't always put you to sleep, but it certainly looks that way as we see Chip doing it once more, and he's rightfully going to place that 30 damage onto the Keldeo EX. Try to do this one more time with the Dark Claw, but he's in for some trouble, as energies will be a-brewing.
Tropical Beach bumps the Burbank City Gym. ChipRichey just took 2 prizes with that Keldeo EX getting knocked out. So now it is even, 4-4. Now Black Curum in the active spot. Has 1 lightning energy attached, but needs a little bit more help to get an attack this turn. And there's that superior energy retrieval to get all of these water energies, and Deluge equips them all.
That is sweet. Even going to play down some extra ones.
Oh my goodness.
Knows that this Black Hero EX is going nowhere soon, and Pablo is going to flood the hand with even more energies. Do you want to just play those down too?
And boom, there it is. Darkrai EX gets knocked out in response. 2 more prizes to Pablo Meza. Took a long time for this match to get into it, the nitty gritty, but once those Pokemon kept swinging, they never stopped.
Yep, well, we got to finish that one nice and quickly there. Pablo with an impressive win over ChipRichey in the 2013 format of the Vancouver World Championships. Nice to pay homage to that once more.